From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Daniels Roofing, licensed, bonded, insured roofing contractor. 45 years of generational expertise, offering a variety of roofing systems in the North State. Composition shingles, metal, tile, fire-safe wood shingles, and spray foam roofing systems. An energy-saving cool roof, perfect for commercial flat roofs and mobile homes. With other companies, you may get a foreman or a salesman. But with Daniels Roofing, you get Daniel. Call today for your free estimate. Daniels Roofing, 3 generations working hard to protect your home and business.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining me here for your evening update. You know, the afternoon thunderstorms we've seen all week long, well, that is going to go into the weekend as well. It is going to become a little less widespread. I think most of the activity all weekend long is going to be in Siskiyou County, but there will be times where Modoc County, Trinity County, even some of the eastern mountains could see some activity as well. But with all of that, we still have the potential for more dry lightning strikes, new lightning-sparked fires. But in the end, I do expect to see some cooler weather for many of us, for in fact all of Northern California, by the time we get into your Sunday and Monday. But there is some bigger heat heading our way toward the middle and latter part of next week. We'll get into all of that a little bit later in our deeper dive. But first, let's go through Krueger's Quick Cast here for your Friday, August 1st. Tonight, we are going to be dropping down into the mid to upper 60s for the valley. Clear skies, mainly 50s for the higher elevations and for the coast. Out the door tomorrow morning, a bit of haze out towards the Big Cliff Fire here. So northern Trinity County may see some of the haze and smoke, but otherwise mainly clear skies. We're going to see the fog, some drizzle for the coast. Temperatures upper 50s, even some low 60s for the higher elevations, but for the valley by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, somewhere in the low 70s. So the low pressure spinning over the Gulf of Alaska, that is going to eventually show signs of getting weaker. And that will eventually allow us to see warmer temperatures, but not until next week. So let's take a look at Futurecast here as we go into the next 24 hours. And you can see, overnight tonight, we're going to start to see any activity we're seeing now just kind of break apart, right? And then we're going to be looking at drier conditions by about 10 o'clock tonight across the board and tomorrow morning. There's the fog along the coast, some of those inland valleys as well. By midday, we're beginning to see those afternoon towering cumulus clouds, but nothing as far as thunderstorms just yet. Few and far between by 3 p.m., just a few showers and thunderstorms in Siskiyou County, but we're also seeing some activity for Lassen, maybe Modoc County. And you'll notice, too, just west of Redding into extreme eastern Trinity County, maybe a stray shower or even a thunderstorm developing at that point. There we are at about 5 p.m. Saturday. Look where the bulk of the activity is. Once again, we're looking at it in Siskiyou County, but even Lassen, northern Lassen County, and even Modoc County could see some activity. Look at this. A shower, possibly, just kind of approaching the valley. That's not out of the question. This is something we've been monitoring over the last 3 days, really, with that potential in the valley. And then we go into Saturday night. We're done with that rain, right? And then it looks like we'll see more going into Sunday. And at this point, Monday, I'm going to go ahead and keep dry. All right, so for your Saturday, mainly sunny skies for the valley. We could see some clouds late in the afternoon and maybe even a stray sprinkle or shower for the north end of the valley. Otherwise, most of the thunderstorms will be north and east of the valley. And, of course, the dry conditions most likely for most of Trinity County. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast for the valley. And, the temperatures are dropping, as I mentioned, probably somewhere in the mid-90s on average here for Sunday, Monday for Redding. But for Red Bluff, low to mid-90s. And for Chico, in the low 90s. But the triple digits will return, especially by the middle to latter part of next week. For the coast, you're even seeing some warmer weather by the middle and latter part of next week with highs in the mid to upper 60s. Inland, you're going to be in the mid to upper 90s. And, Trinity County could see some triple digits near the end of next week. And for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains. So for Siskiyou and Modoc, I'm just going to keep your chances for thunderstorms all the way through Sunday. But I think the best overall will be for Siskiyou County. And I think by Sunday, the Eastern Mountains, and in particular for Lassen County, will be dry. There's the cooler weather for Sunday and Monday, but then warming up going through next week. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quick Cast. Before we get to our deeper dive, I do want to remind you there's a free 24-hour, free app, that is, that you'll have access to 24 hours a day, really, is what we're talking about here. And, all you have to do is search for Weather NorCal in your app store. Make sure there's a space between Weather and NorCal, and you can download the app for free. This is how you can track the thunderstorms, any lightning that may be in the area. You'll actually get alerted if there is any lightning near you. You'll also be the first, and I say this, right, because the National Weather Service, they issue say, a severe thunderstorm warning. It actually goes to the Weather NorCal app first, then the Weather Service updates it. So if you want to be the first to get those notifications, be sure to download that free Weather NorCal app today. And by the way, it's also a forecast that's generated by me, not necessarily a whole lot of AI going on there. All right, let's take a look at your fire weather forecast. This is sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. Again, I show you the winds every time because I just want to illustrate that there are no major wind events. Now, Saturday, yeah, your typical afternoon breeze is kicking in. Sunday, I'm getting a little concerned by the winds that we could see for the north and west side of the valley because now you see these yellows and oranges. You're getting into the 30, 35 mile an hour gust range. That's not good because now if we do have a fire that starts in under those conditions, it could spread pretty rapidly under those types of winds. Okay, now we take a look at the fire weather risk. And you can see as we go into Saturday, yeah, we're in the moderate to high. That's pretty typical, pretty standard. Now we go into your Sunday. Remember I was talking about those winds picking up, so we'll see a little bullseye right where those stronger winds will be, kind of getting those deeper oranges right here. So yeah, I'm a little concerned about Sunday. We need to make sure that on Sunday we are being extra careful when it comes to preventing any fires from starting. By the way, it is that Big Cliff fire that's producing most of the smoke and haze right now. There you can see about 11 o'clock tonight, some smoke, a bit haze out towards the north end of Trinity County, and then that grayer color indicating, even some of the darker grays indicating maybe even that faint smell of smoke. 8 a.m. Saturday, kind of just over the Big Cliff. And then as those winds kind of kick in, it begins to breathe a little bit more. We see more activity. It pushes more of the smoke off to the east. I think Mount Shasta City possibly feeling a little bit of that smoke here as we go into Saturday afternoon. And then by Saturday night, it kind of pushes a little bit more back down to the south over northern Trinity County and just in the form of that haze. And again, a little smoky out there too. Low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska. That has been really the saving grace for our temperatures. Yes, it's been hot, but it could have been worse. You know, temperatures were right around or just below normal all week long. And the reason it didn't get any warmer than that is thanks to this, because the heat over here couldn't expand more in our direction because this kept that from happening. So yeah, thank you, area of low pressure. But that's not going to last forever, is it? But we'll talk about that here a little bit here. Let's talk about the severe weather outlook. Now, I am a little bit more in agreement with what's going on here. I think most of it will be in Siskiyou and Modoc County. We may see some activity for parts of Lassen. I don't think Bernie will see thunderstorms. However, that all being said, I do think, my lights are turning off here. I got to turn those back on. There we go. That all being said, I'll say this. I do think there may be a chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm popping up here, and maybe in eastern Tehama, southwestern Shasta County as well. Otherwise, you know, mainly dry. But things could get a little interesting. And when we look at Futurecast, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's Sunday. Again, I think it's overdoing it here. I think mostly up to the north and off to the east into Modoc County, but otherwise not much going on elsewhere. Let's take a look at Futurecast. Now let's take a look at what we're talking about here. So tonight by 10 o'clock, I think most of anything that we're seeing here this evening will pretty much be over with. And then tomorrow morning, we've got the mainly clear skies. We've got the fog out along the coast, making its way to the inland areas. See this? And then as we go into Saturday, look at this. Saturday about 3 p.m., most of it is here in Siskiyou. We could see some activity in Modoc. We could see some activity in Lassen as well. But you see how it's kind of clearing out towards Bernie. That's why I don't expect any thunderstorms there. But look at this, a little bit of development. See these clouds? Some of these could develop into a shower or a thunderstorm. That is not out of the question. But you look at most of Trinity County, we're just not seeing a lot of activity there here for tomorrow. Now it starts to kind of pop up, gets a little bit more active in Siskiyou County. This is where we're going to see most of those thunderstorms. But yeah, sure, Modoc, Lassen could see some activity. But look at this, little pop-up here out towards between Redding and Rubba. So it's not out of the question. This is something really we've been monitoring for the last few days with that potential of the valley getting in on that activity here overall. All right, let's take a look at Saturday night. Right, it dries out again. We still have that fog along the coast, but that will continue. Then we go into Sunday around 8 a.m. There's the fog along the coast, the drizzle. We're still dry for everyone else. Now Sunday afternoon, all right, there it is. You see where most of it is? Siskiyou. But I don't want to rule out maybe even Modoc seeing some of that as well. But I don't expect any thunderstorms for Trinity County, for the valley, or even out towards, say, Lassen. But what you'll notice here, we're seeing some clouds. We'll even see some clouds here for parts of the valley. So it's not entirely out of the question for maybe a stray sprinkle or light shower, or even a stray shower or thunderstorm here for parts of Lassen. But those chances are pretty slim. As you can see, most of the dynamics are up to the north into Siskiyou County, where we're going to see the potential for maybe even some strong to severe thunderstorms coming in on your Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Then by Sunday night, it's all over with. And it's beginning to look like we'll be done with that thunderstorm activity here by early next week, by Monday. Hopefully by Monday, we won't be talking about any more thunderstorms. I am seeing some signs that it may linger into Monday, but for now, I'm going to keep it dry. Be sure to keep checking in with Chase Wilson over the weekend. He'll have the latest on the forecast model data for you to keep you updated with what's going on Monday. But especially by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the rest of next week, still looking fairly dry. Cooler than normal to our north and east, but we're in that warmer the normal area here. Why? Well, that's because, remember I was talking about this area of low pressure right here, keeping this heat from really expanding any farther into Northern California. So that's been, again, our saving grace through the weekend, at least the first half of the weekend. But then we start to see a little pocket of more mild air move in. This is going to drop our temperatures even more by Sunday and Monday. But then that kind of scoots on out of here. Now, what I've really got my eyes on is this right here, because this area of high pressure over the eastern Pacific will continue to build and migrate eastward. Look what's happening. We're beginning to see some of that hotter air begin to move into Northern California. So this is when I expect to possibly see 105 or so toward the end of next week. And some models are indicating now that this actually may expand even more to the north and east, which would mean even hotter by not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after. So this is looking at 1 week from today is that we're looking at right here. It could get hotter into that next weekend. We'll see. So for now, the 10-day trend is calling for those hot temperatures. You can see that does go into that next weekend. Some models still suggesting maybe a bit of a drop after that, but now some of the latest models are saying no, not necessarily, maybe even going up. We'll see. I mean, you start going beyond 7-8 days, you have to really take that 10-day trend with a grain of salt toward the latter part of it. Let's take a look at our neighborhood forecast. One of our new sponsors, very excited to have Dignity Health as a sponsor of 3 of our neighborhoods. So we're very excited and welcome them to the sponsorship family. Let's take a look at our Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Those temperatures in the 90s, 92 degrees for Lewiston, 95 degrees for Douglas City. So what you'll see here, look at that, no showers or thunderstorms. That being said, especially tomorrow, if we see a stray shower or thunderstorm, don't be surprised, but it is going to be few and far between if it indeed happens. The North Coast, sponsored by Dignity Health. As you can see here, those temperatures in the mid-60s, give or take, a little bit warmer as we get towards the end of next week. Up to the north, there you can see temperatures getting cooler inland. Sunday, Monday, basically mid-80s, give or take. Then we're back in the 90s, approaching 100 degrees by the end of next week. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast brought to you by Dignity Health. Those temperatures in the 80s, even some 90s with 94 degrees for Happy Camp. Keeping the chance for thunderstorms both Saturday and Sunday afternoon. For now, I've got you dry on Monday. That may change. We'll see. Same story for Alturas. I think your chances are actually going to be slimmer for those thunderstorms than, say, Siskiyou County, but I put the chance in there nonetheless. Maybe dry on Monday. Temperatures for your Saturday will be in the mid-80s, give or take. For the eastern mountains, I've got a chance for thunderstorms for you on Saturday, most likely drier on Sunday, and then Monday as well. Increasing temperatures as we go through next week. Your valley neighborhood forecast to the south brought to you by Dignity Health. Temperatures will be in the 90s, 93 degrees for Hamilton City, 95 degrees for Chico, and 94 degrees in Gridley. Here's your Chico 7-day forecast. And yeah, there's that drop in the temperature Sunday, Monday. Triple digits return by the end of next week. We take it up to the north, about 98 degrees for Redding, 98 for Bella Vista, 93 in Whiskeytown, and 93 for Lakehead. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast for Redding. Boy, oh boy, it's getting hotter, that is for sure. We're talking temperatures 100 degrees or higher by Wednesday, and we are approaching that 105-degree mark by the time we get toward the end of next week. Well, that's your evening update. I'll be back again on Monday morning with your 6 a.m. update and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Until then, have a great weekend and keep checking in with Chase Wilson for both Saturday and Sunday. He'll have all the updates you need throughout the weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Construction season is well underway in the North State, and we'd like to remind drivers to slow down around work zones. Keep Caltrans workers safe when they're on the job, and remember to be work zone alert when you see the color orange. Remember to pay attention to signs, merge early, avoid distractions, and don't speed. This message is brought to you by Caltrans District 2.